Hello there, module bundlers. This is Taylor again, and some of you may have already looked at my videos on Moodle. I've been doing some work today on the grading scheme, and it looks like there is a little bit of complexity when it comes down to getting all of our grades to play nicely together. We want the computer to handle everything in the back end, so I can just grade my folks in my section of the module. Betsy does hers, Nikki does hers, and then everything should calculate automatically at the end, and this can be done, but there is a little bit of back-end work you have to set up first. So you can see here I've got this blank Moodle page. I have an assignment already listed, but I haven't done anything in terms of categories yet. I'm going to start from scratch. So step one, we'll come down here on the right, down to Settings. Oop, that zoomed in a little far. Head over to Grades. And then on the upper left, use the Grader Report drop-down, Categories and Items, Simple View. And you can see that automatically the name of the course pops up. So here it'll say something like 3D module bundle or something like that. By default, I believe it says simple weighted mean of grades, and then here I have my assignment that has no category yet. So after some research, I'm finding that a simple weighted mean of grades means that you have to assign a point value that is the equivalent of a percentage. So say I assign a piece of homework and I want that piece of homework to be equivalent to 3% of the overall grade. If I was doing simple weighted mean, I would need to make 3 points the maximum possible grade, and this causes some problems because there's not a lot of granularity if you're grading somebody based on 0, 1, 2, or 3 points, right? So generally I like to have my grades all go from 0 to 100, and then we will not use simple weighted mean of grades. Instead, I'm going to use a weighted mean of grades. Now when I click here, you'll see that right next door to weighted mean of grades, I'll have the opportunity to assign a weight. Right now, since there's only one assignment, that assignment would necessarily consist of 100% of the grade. So we're going to add in some categories, and because those categories will fall within weighted mean of grades, we'll have to decide what percentage of the overall grade those make up. So let me switch this back temporarily to simple weighted mean of grades, and then we'll come through here with add category at the bottom. Okay, now to make this even a little more complex, we're working with 3 professors, and each of those professors will be assigning the same types of material based on our conversation in the teaching comments. So the first thing I want to do is make categories for each of the professors in my module bundle. So this category is named Hokanson, that's me. Its aggregation type is a weighted mean of grades, and I'll save those changes. And I'm going to come through and do this for each of my 3 professors. So let's add another category. Let's call the next one Odom. Again, weighted mean of grades. Save changes. And then finally, for this test, I would add a category. This category is Anderson, weighted mean of grades. And you'll see I'm skipping by down here the parent category. That's going to come in handy once we finish assigning these teacher names. Okay, so now fundamentals of 2D design is broken out into Hokanson, Odom, and Anderson. If I switch the top level category to weighted mean of grades, the page refreshes, and you'll see I have the opportunity to talk about what percentage of the entire grade that Hokanson makes up, Odom, Anderson, and so forth. So here I'm going to do the math for the computer. That will be 0.333, as in 33.3%. I can do that for all 3 professors before hitting Save Changes. What I can also do at this time is start to feed those assignments into my subcategories, but there's one more set that I want to add. So I'll come down here to the bottom and say Add Category. This category will be called Attendance and Participation. Participation. Oh man, it's hard to talk and type at the same time. Aggregation will be weighted mean of grades. We're going to do that throughout to keep things as simple as possible. But down here at the bottom, this is important. My parent category, as I'm setting this up, is going to be Hokanson. So let's save those changes. Okay, and then just to fill this out, let's add one more category. This category will be called project, and parenthetically I'll put an S. I know some people will assign a lot of project materials, some people only one. I personally am going to assign one final project, and that's it. Again, it's a weighted mean of grades, and again, the parent category is Hokanson. So now what I can see, because everything in this grading system is titled weighted mean of grades, it's a little confusing because I have to look one category down to see the effect of the drop-down menu that I've used. Ignore the assignment here for a second. So the entire upper-level category, the title of the course, is a weighted mean, and then that means that Hokanson, which is a subcategory, makes up 0.33 or 33.3% of the overall category grade. When I make Hokanson into a weighted mean of grades, that means that now I have the opportunity to set what percentage of Hokanson attendance and participation in projects make up. So per our discussion, it's 50% for attendance and participation and 50% for projects. So I'll save those changes. Now finally, let's go ahead and plug this assignment into one of these subcategories. To do that, you have to scroll down and then scroll to the right so that you reveal these little icons right here. It's a little confusing. I remember that that project is on the second line. So if I hit this bundle of arrows, I can now set up this assignment anywhere that I want. So I'm going to put it here, which is in the first subheading under attendance and participation for Hokanson. And then finally, I have one more batch of potential weightings to make. So here we have Hokanson accounts for 33.3% of the overall grade for the entire class. Participation and attendance counts for 50% of the Hokanson grade. And then assignment 1 can also count for its own percentage of participation and attendance. Now, I'm going to keep it simple, so I'm going to assign 5 participation grades. Each will be worth 20% of attendance and participation, so its weighted mean is going to be 0.2, and I'll put in 0.2 for each of those grades. Because I'm only assigning a single project, I'm just going to have one project under this heading, and then its value would be 1, as in 100% of the project grade. Let's go ahead and hit save. Okay, so especially once you've started to tile in all the assignments, this thing gets relatively complex looking, but it's not that bad. I've set up a working example of this on the module bundle that I'm teaching with Betsy and Nikki. I've put everyone on there as a non-editing teacher if they're not directly related, so this will show up on your Moodle page. You can take a look in grading and see how I've handled it, and then you can make the same changes on your end. If you have any difficulty or problems, talk to the coordinator of your module bundle, myself, Bo Wilson, or Duncan McKenzie, and we'll get you straightened away.